we are going to talk about the process, how to develop self-acceptance. You begin by learning to journal. You can never go wrong with journaling. Almost in every process, you have to journal. In this way, you're able to track your thoughts. When I talk about journaling, I hope you remember that it's taking a piece of paper, and not just a piece of paper. You could have a diary, a notebook, but keeping a diary is more, it's more efficient because it has the dates and the days. And in this way, you can write and track your thoughts. It can help you to identify the toxic thought patterns and any judgmental thoughts, when you think negatively, how you judge yourself by the decisions you make and the conclusions. This then makes you to become more aware. When you become aware, you can practice what I call mindfulness. This just means that you become focused at the moment. You enter the moment and you begin to put a demarcation or a boundary between your thoughts and your judgments. You see, take for example, you're thinking of taking yourself on a holiday, and at the same time you begin to judge yourself and you say, I really don't deserve. When you become mindful, you just focus on that idea of taking yourself on a holiday without judging whether it is good or bad. So you just allow your mind to freely flow the thoughts that are coming without necessarily labeling them as successes or failures, without labeling them as good or bad. So when it comes to mindfulness, it's just embracing the thoughts that come with the moment. And sometimes all you have to do is just to let your thoughts freely flow. And you can also withdraw, especially in this busy world. Slow down a little bit. Take some time and just withdraw, Could be staying in a bedroom alone, going just in a place that is isolated, but just take some time and slow down in this busy world. You don't have to be in everything and everywhere. So live in the moment and try to be intentional by just being open to accepting how your thoughts are coming in and discerning and paying attention to everything, that is going on within your internal mechanism. So once you do this, then you accept yourself, accept those thoughts, and accepting them does not necessarily mean that they are good or they are bad, but it's just taking them the way they are. And you see, learn to also treat yourself the way you would treat a good friend, Many of us just take time to take other people out. Rarely will you see someone in a restaurant just seated alone, taking a drink, or going to a movie hall to watch a movie. Many times we want to bring in people. We've never learned to love ourselves. So make yourself a good friend. Be a friend to yourself. I hope you get what I mean. Talk to yourself. Treat yourself to a good movie. Sometimes I do that many times. I go to a restaurant and you hear people, the waiters will always ask, can I reserve a seat for two? And I always say yes. And I know that the other person is the handbag. The seat is for the handbag. I put it there and I sit and I just buy myself a good meal. I take time to think, to focus, to eat, just to enjoy my space. Try that and you'll never regret. Because building self-confidence and accepting yourself is about transforming and developing a new mindset, like what we've been teaching you actually. It is about mind transformation. This takes a process. It's not a one-time thing. You notice that from when we began the discussion, it's now going to the 3rd month because it's a transformational process. It's not an overnight thing. So learn to listen to such programs, to read books centered around self-awareness, self-acceptance. Listen to talks centered around that, because it's a mind transformational thing. You regenerate your mind by listening to things that are helpful to the mind. And you cultivate some self-compassion by letting go of most of the guilt and the shame, and you learn to forgive yourself. And, as we will see this later on, notice that your self-happiness is determined by your level of self-acceptance. You just have to let go negative patterns of seeking approval, what you were talking about, and trying to demonstrate our worth to others, those negative patterns, being a people pleaser, having unhealthy boundaries, you don't even have boundaries. I always see many teachings and talk shows on how to flirt. Personally, I think that those are very unhealthy boundaries, because when you begin to flirting with each and every person in the office, already you're not having any boundaries, because when you know yourself, you've accepted yourself, and you know your identity, because self-acceptance is a journey towards self-identity. Then you learn to put healthy boundaries. You see, if you're a CEO of an institution and you cannot put boundaries even in the office, it will soon lead to disrespect. People will begin not respecting you. Even in your own house, if you don't put boundaries, maybe with the house helps, there's a way they begin to handle you. Boundaries are very, very important. Anyone who does not have boundaries, it is a red flag, because when you love yourself and you know yourself, you cannot just give your life to everybody. Even in a house, when you are building a home, there's the master bedroom, the children's bedrooms. Not everybody just enters anywhere. You have boundaries. Even some homes have different kinds of sitting rooms and chambers. Depending on how close somebody is, they will be allowed to a different part of the room. So anyone who just takes anybody into their life, you meet immediately, and you're already telling somebody about your life, opening up, that is a sure red flag. Boundaries are very, very important in life, and you cannot create boundaries if you really don't know who you are in life, and if you have not yet mastered the art of self-awareness and self-acceptance. Most of us grew with conditional positive regard from our caregivers who are quite judgmental. So this affected the way we view things and the way we do things. But with self-awareness and self-acceptance, then we also train ourselves to give unconditional positive regard. Once we understand and accept what we don't like about ourselves, then we begin to handle each aspect of our lives with compassion, instead of using negative mechanisms such as denial, because when you deny, then you keep on living in feelings of guilt and shame. You need to know that God is love, and we should embrace His unconditional love. Viewers, I have to finish off. We'll pick up from there next time. Until then, goodbye.